Hi, in today's video, we're going to speak about how to lead with confidence, vibrancy, and pleasure. We're going to go over what's the real problem keeping heart-centered leaders from leading with confidence, how mindset is just part of the equation when making empowered decisions. I'll share a little bit about my reclamation of my pleasure, my vibrancy, my confidence, and then I'm going to share 3 questions with you that can help you lead with clear decisions that are true to you. Most heart-centered leaders that come to me that struggle with vitality, with being in their confidence or leading with pleasure, think that the problem is that they need to overcome overwhelm, anxiety, shyness. They need to perfect something before they get it out there. They need to be perfect. Anybody ever dealt with perfectionism, right? Or they simply need to heal all their trauma before they're able to share themselves confidently in the world. The real problem is that they're not fully aligned with who they are, with the reasons why they're doing what they're doing, with their purpose, with their vision, with what's in their hearts. And because of it, their actions and their decisions are lacking commitment, desire, and passion. This is what keeps people from being fully engaged in what they do, in what they share with the world, in long-term commitment. Imagine a world where at least 50% of the people were fully engaged with what they did. They loved it. They were in love with themselves, with their gifts, and they just overpoured that into the world. It would be a very different world, right? The world doesn't need more people acquiring information and knowledge and degrees and money for its own sake. The world needs people who are in real wealth. Wealth, that word comes from the root English word wele, meaning well-being, to be fully living in something, fully engaged, fully alive, coming fully alive. The world needs our love. When we care about something, when we're fully engaged in something, then we are in love with the moment, with ourselves, with our gifts, and we're overpouring them into the world. At the core, most of my work is about helping people make clear, aligned decisions. It's about inviting them to live in eros, connected to the pleasure of being fully alive. You can think about eros as the cherishing of divinity in all of life, in the unfoldment of life. It's about remembering that we are part of this greater body of Gaia and of the cosmos, right? Connecting personal nature to great nature. And it's also about connecting who we are, our primal nature, with a higher level of consciousness. So it includes the wholeness of who we are. In leading retreats and leading masterminds, oftentimes my title falls under mindset. Mindset coach, and it is kind of what I do, but it kind of leaves me confused because mindset is just part of the equation. We can't make decisions just from a mindset perspective. We are a whole system. This body is an antenna of consciousness. Our soul wants to be fully incarnate in our body so we can make decisions that are fully aligned with all of who we are. It is in our body that we can experience joy, sorrow, pleasure, pain, and it is only through our body that our soul can get to do what it's here to do. And yet many of us are disconnected from it. Most people, as you look at society, are head up people. They're leading from their head. They're leading with their minds, which can only make patterns and make expectations with the past. We want to be in full alignment, right? We want to be in full alignment of the whole body. It is in our body that we carry our pleasure centers. Many of us are disconnected from this sacred part in us. We have disowned it, we're confused by it, we abuse it, or we shame it because we live in a society that has essentially shamed us for our sexuality and then sold it back at us. So reclaiming this as a sacred part in us that can help us make clear decisions to lead engaged in what we do, it's super important because we need to be connected to our pleasure, to know what's a full yes for us. In our bodies, we also have our hearts, and many people are disconnected from it from fear of being hurt, from carrying too much weight from the past, and ability to forgive, resentment, or simply have no boundaries, right? They just walk around with a heart fully open and keep getting hurt because they don't know how to maintain and contain that energy in a safe way. And the truth is that we will always be in trouble when we are making decisions that are not connected to the center of ourselves, which many mystics have named the seat of our soul, our hearts. Many of us have developed great intellects, we're great thinkers, and yet we have forgotten to develop our inner sight, the part of us that can hold all the wisdom from the past and at the same time connect it with a more beautiful future that we can see for ourselves, and in that help us be in the awe and wonder of the precious infinite now. We want to align all our centers to be in true alignment, to be in confidence, to lead vibrantly, to be fully engaged. We want to get into the center, our pleasure, our heart, our passion, and our vision. About 10 years ago, I went through a couple of years of celibacy where I was exploring harnessing my creative energy to higher centers so that my actions were connected to not just personal gains but for the good of all. And this was a very sacred practice, and I learned a lot from it, and at the same time it disconnected me from a very vital, important, sacred part of me, which is my body, my pleasure. And in the past 5 years or so, I've been really owning and connecting and exploring what it is to be in full yes in my body, in full pleasure in my body, and allowing that to guide me. My body carries so much information and so much wisdom, and and our bodies do. And so leaning into its wisdom and leaning into its yes has been incredibly important into making decisions that are true to me. And this is something that I invite anybody that I work with to start to consider, to really develop what it feels like to have a yes in your pleasure centers. One of my clients, Shelly, said that after working together and reclaiming so much of herself, not just her pleasure centers, but really getting deep into her heart and getting counsel from her heart and developing her vision, that she tapped in her own words, to the yum yum frequency. and I love saying that because it's true. When we connect with what's in full alignment with us, we are engaged, we are curious, we are fully in aliveness. I want you to get up and find yourself in a mountain pose. So that is, your feet are right under your hips and your arms are right by your sides facing up. And I invite you to take a stand that gives your body one full line. So that means that your feet are fully grounded into the earth, and your hips are right on top of your feet, and your shoulders are right on top of your hips, and your ears are right on top of your shoulders. And so when practicing this, I invite you to think about finding the place in between your hip bones and finding that as your pleasure center, your first pleasure center. Then finding the place in between both of your ribs, finding your heart right in the center, and finding your vision right in between both eyes. And then feeling what is something that brings a full yes into your body. You think about an experience that brings you so much joy, or something that just felt like a moment of pride, a moment of delight, something that you're engaging with that just makes you feel like oh yes, and just feel that in your body. What does that feel in all your centers? And allow yourself to have that experience. I want you to think about something that you are considering in your life or in work, whether it's a decision you can make, a possibility for an opportunity, or something that you're wondering about. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I want you to drop into your body and hear your body having a yes or a no. It must be a full fuck yes in your body. The first question is, will this bring me joy and make me curious and ignite my passion? Listen to your body. Let it be a yes or a no. Listen. The second question is, will this help me infuse my actions with energy and enthusiasm? It's got to be a yes in your 3 centers. And the last question is, will this help me prioritize my pleasure and my well-being while moving towards my goals?